The world of horror is full of monsters, but some don't just want your life. They want your identity, your past, your meaning. And here's where it gets disturbing. This woman wakes up inside a coffin. No name, no memory, nothing. And somewhere out there, a man is watching her like she's already part of a collection. Not a person, a recording. Wait, think about that for a second. You're not just trying to escape. You're trying to survive someone who has already decided who you are. This isn't hide and seek. It's a psychological war, where the winner gets to define your story. And somehow, a woman with nothing left becomes the one thing a killer like this can't control. The movie opens on our protagonist, and honestly, you can practically smell the adrenaline. She's trapped in total darkness, and the silence is worse than the screaming. She bangs on her enclosure until, BM, she tumbles out, realizing she was literally locked in a coffin. She finds a door, a phone, and dials 911. Wait, did she really think it would be that easy? She's scanning the room and spots a corpse on a tray. This isn't a basement, it's a morgue. Then, she sees him through a curtain. A man in a skull mask. She asks if he's the police. Think about that for a second. Does a guy in a skull mask standing over a corpse look like he's here to protect and serve? A local man tries to help her, but before he can even process her warning, the masked man, who we'll call Crumbskull, ends him from behind. She breaks for the street and flags down a car. A guy named Tucker picks her up. Now, look, we've all been told not to talk to strangers, especially when fleeing a skull-masked murderer, but she's desperate. The twist? She has total amnesia. No name, no past, just pure survival instinct. Tucker takes her home to his wife, Cindy. While they're being good Samaritans, we see a disturbing shot of the killer injecting himself with a syringe. He's not just a brute, he's maintaining himself. He's a professional. Reality hits. Tucker finds blood on her pillow. She's been chipped or injured at the base of her skull. As they try to give her a new identity, she chooses Princess Gemstone. The window becomes a frame for a nightmare. Crumbskull is there. He's holding Cindy's head against the glass like a trophy. Tucker offers his own life to save his wife, but this killer doesn't do deals. He wants the girl. He eliminates Cindy right in front of Tucker. This is where the movie shifts from a missing person mystery to a full-blown psychological collapse. Tucker and Princess bolt into the woods, which, let's be honest, is basically Crumbskull's backyard. Meanwhile, Cindy's brother Johnny is driving nearby with his girlfriend Jamie, complaining that Tucker is cheating. Well, he doesn't have to worry about the marriage anymore. They see a car with the plate Crumbskull. Jamie asks Johnny if he'd ever cheat on her. Seriously? In the middle of a dark forest next to a car named after a skull? Before he can even finish his no, Crumbskull destroys his face. Jamie tries to run, but she realizes she's already been sliced open. Her end is slow, agonizing, and cold. Tucker and Princess find Steven, a local who lets them use his computer. They find a match, an FBI most wanted serial assassin. He abducts women from different states, records them, and finishes them. They arm themselves with tools from a trunk and head to the police station. It's empty. Tucker gets a voice on the walkie-talkie, Sheriff Bates. But when they call back, the voice sounds mechanical, synthesized. There's a new sheriff in town, and he wears a mask. Crumbskull lunges out of a closet, a camera strapped to a body nearby recording every move. They barely escape in the car, heart rates at 200 BPM. Princess insists on going back to the cemetery to trigger her memory. This is the logic gap in horror movies, but think about her perspective. She has no soul without her past. While inside, Steven starts hallucinating his dead mother. The trauma is spreading like a virus. Princess finds another victim, a girl bound hand and foot inside a coffin. She tries to cut the ropes, but the killer is too fast. He doesn't just kill the girl, he records it. He's building a library of death. He grabs Princess. The main event is starting. Crumbskull inserts a tape labeled Miami. He's drilling holes in a coffin, setting up the perfect shot for his next film starring Princess. But Tucker isn't done. He breaks in, firing wildly. They find Princess, but she's catatonic until they pull her out. They steal the killer's car. They find his phone, but it's locked. They try passwords, Crumbskull, death, nothing. Behind them, in the rearview mirror of life, the killer rises again. These guys are like cockroaches, you can't just hit them once. Steven finds his mother's body in the trunk. It's too much. While the men are distracted by grief, Princess takes the car and heads to a market. She's done being the victim. Crumbskull remotely locks the car. He's a tech-savvy predator. The phone beeps. A text comes through, which reads, "Hello Miami." He names them after the places he stole them from. She's not a person to him. She's a souvenir. He smashes the window. She stabs her thumb into his eye socket and realizes he has no eyes. Wait, what? He's literally a hollow shell. He runs out of tape. He forces her to go into the store to buy a new one. The clerk sees a distress text on her phone and pulls a shotgun. It's a brave move, but Crumbskull is a professional. He eliminates the clerk before the man can even chamber around. Everyone is trapped in the store. Steven finds cyanoacrylate, super glue. He puts it in the killer's briefcase. Crumbskull grabs Steven and ends him with tire sealant. It's brutal. Princess hides in a freezer. He plays a tape for her, the truth. She wasn't a princess. She was a drug-addicted escort. That revelation, it doesn't break her. It sets her free. She doesn't care about her old life anymore. In the struggle, Crumbskull's mask falls off. He reaches for his mask glue, the cyanoacrylate Steven planted, and smears it on his face. It melts his skin instantly. Princess walks out and finishes the job with a baseball bat to his decomposing face. She finds a missing person flyer in Tucker's pocket. He knew who she was all along. She leaves a note, grabs the survivor Tommy, and drives toward Atlanta. Now, before you click off, let me tell you something you probably missed. Because this changes how you understand the entire story. At its core, this story is about control versus identity. The killer doesn't just take lives, he redefines them. By turning people into labels like Miami, he strips away humanity and replaces it with ownership. Princess, on the other hand, starts with nothing, and that emptiness forces her to rebuild herself from scratch. So the real conflict isn't just survival. It's who gets to decide who you are. There's something deeper here. What psychologists call the narrative self. The story you tell yourself about who you are. Princess loses her past, but instead of collapsing, she adapts. And that shows something powerful. You are not just your history. You are your decisions in the present. Notice how the killer records everything. That's not just for memory. It's control. If he can study your fear, he can predict you. Also, the missing eyes behind the mask. That's symbolic. He doesn't see people as humans, only as footage. The lesson here is simple but real. Panic makes you predictable, and predictable people are easy to control. But when you slow down, think, and adapt, you become harder to manipulate. In pressure, don't just react. Understand. By the end, Princess isn't returning to her old life. She's moving forward without it. And that leaves a question sitting with you. If everything about you disappeared tomorrow, would you rebuild the same person or become someone new? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the mind of a survivor, you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, and join D Billion's family for the most intense recaps. Stay smart, stay safe, and never, ever answer the phone if it says, "Hello, Miami."